Major General Sudhakarji, I want to discuss all angles here, and let's just take this scenario into consideration. Now, what are the implications if it turns out to be a covert operation by a third party using proxies? All right, we don't have Major General Sudhakarji, but we do have Ambassador Yogesh Gupta. Now, Ambassador Yogesh Gupta, let me put this question to you. Let's take this scenario into consideration. Now, what are the implications if it turns out to be a covert operation by a third party using proxies to escalate tensions?
Well, certainly, this is going to be criticized and ridiculed by other countries. China has a lot of interest in Venezuela. Russia has interest in Venezuela. The other countries, many other countries in South America, in Central America, would be happy with this sort of a military intervention by the US for no particular reason. And this is certainly going to be ridiculed by everyone. And but whether this external criticism will sort of lead to any impact on the US president is difficult to say, because Trump runs his own foreign policy. He doesn't listen very much to others. And so, in that sense, he may continue with what he has started. And but certainly it's going to destabilize the region. It may impact on the supply of oil and so on. And it is something which will create more instability in the region.
All right, Major General Gigi Dwivedi, I'll come to you after I take this question, because I have Group Captain UK Devnath, former Indian Air Force officer, who's also joining me. Now, Group Captain Devnath, how do you see, I want to begin by asking you, how do you see this attack on Venezuela?
There is absolutely no doubt that Venezuelans and Maduro and his advisors knew since September that this type of an attack is coming. Venezuela has a very small navy. Venezuela has a very small air force. They have few Sukhoi 30s, but their operational capabilities are rather restricted because of lack of spare part. Venezuela has an army consisting of 1 lakh plus troops. They also have Russian made T-72 tanks. Venezuela has a good number of paramilitary forces, about 250,000 paramilitary forces. This needs to be appreciated that they have trained more than 3 lakh militias. Now, militias in Venezuela are very active. They are civilians, but they are given regular training and arms supply by Venezuelan government. So when America attacks Venezuela on ground, reports are there that American troops are trying to make some kind of an ingress. American naval amphibious ships have landed, some tanks also on Venezuelan soil. So this militia will be very highly effective against US troops, US Marine Corps. But it is yet to be seen whether Venezuelan army, a paramilitary, and this 3 lakh strong militia supports Maduro and remains committed to defending Venezuela against American troops. We must also remember CIA has been carrying out covert operations within Venezuela for a long time, and they have built up kind of an sleeping support system within Venezuela. The CIA has encouraged those rich Venezuelans who are anti-Maduro to get together and rise against Maduro at an appropriate time. So how much rebellion, internal rebellion from his civilian rich population is faced by Nicolas Maduro will remain a very important factor. Yes.
Okay, now I'm going across to Major General Gigi Dwivedi. Now, Major General Dwivedi, now what role do you think might external powers with ties to Venezuela, for example, Iran and Russia, especially given recent sanctions and military cooperation narratives, play in shaping responses or subsequent developments as far as this is concerned?
Well, the point is that external forces have very limited capability to interfere in whatever is going on. Yes, the point is, I don't think they're going to be a very direct confrontation because America will not like to have boots on the ground. The effort will be to implode Venezuela internally, and there are a segment of people who are not with the present, Maduro's regime. So internal implosion is one, and secondly, the countries you named, whether it is Iran or Russia or China, they have the gray zone warfare as the part of this strategy. So that could actually play out in this region to take on the American forces or the American indirect intervention. But the point is, I don't think that direct conflict between the American troops and the Venezuelan army or the militia will actually manifest, because that's not in the interest of the American government. But there are other means, because today we are in the era of proxy warfare, and proxy wars are going on all over. I think this will lead to some kind of a grey zone or proxy war where the internal forces will be employed to bring down the regime, because ultimately, after all, every operation has a end political aim. Here, the political aim is to have a regime in Venezuela which is favorable to the American government or favorable to President Trump, and also force a agreement or negotiation through coercion or bringing direct pressure. So two things can happen: either President Maduro comes on the table and negotiates on the American terms, or should he choose to get engaged, then the proxy war will be the way forward. But today, ground warfare is largely secondary, but it's the aerial strikes, and there will be good deal of aerial strikes can be orchestrated both by the air force and especially by the drones and other systems that are in play. But my take is that this situation can lead to two ways: either Venezuelan current regime comes on the negotiation table, or it will lead to a prolonged proxy war. But there may not be a direct confrontation between American troops and Venezuelans. And of course, other actors like Iran, China, Russia will play diplomatic role. They'll actually raise hue and cry at the various forums, and also lend covert support to the current Maduro regime. Over to you.